and very warm welcome to RAFLIMS. This is Farooq Hussain, and today we are going to continue the part 2 of radio frequency identification RFID. In this part, we will discuss the RFID in depth. We'll talk about the RFID readers, we'll talk about the RFID tags and the working principle. But if you haven't watched the part 1, I must say watch it now, because we have talked about the RFID from scratch. In that part, we have discussed the concept of RF. We have talked about the spectrum and different devices on RF, I mean radio frequency. We have discussed the telecommunication 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G and 5G in that part. And we have also talked about the EAS, Electronic Article Surveillance Security System, which is actually the allied technology of RFID. So must watch it. Now the part 2 is actually sponsored and brought to you by Digital Data System. Digital Data System DDS, ddspark.com. They are available on this website. So Digital Data System is one of the best vendors for integrated and digital library products, including digital library, mobile apps, ERP, finance, and time management solutions. But they are famous for RFID and EAS security system. I have selected few of their clients for RFID. They have worked with Sindh Madrasatul Islam University, which is actually very famous university of Pakistan, because the father of nation Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah has studied there. And they have worked with NUST University, National University of Sciences and Technology. Another famous university, LUMS, Lahore University of Management Sciences. They have implemented RFID there. And they have also worked with Foreman Christian College and Lahore. And this is actually ICRA. ICRA is one of a special library at Malir Kent, Karachi. So they have implemented RFID there, and they are actually their clients. Not only these, they have also worked with University of Engineering and Technology Peshawar, the University of Agriculture Peshawar, Information Technology University, PIES, USAID, and Garrison Public Library Multan. So they are actually few clients, they are not all. So I have selected to show you. So they have worked there, and if you want to contact with Digital Data System for the implementation of RFID or the implementation of any integrated library system or institutional repository or any solution of your library, so you must contact them, and they are available at the head office, which is located at Lahore, and they are available on this WhatsApp number and the email address, and Islamabad office and the Karachi office, and they are also deal at the USA office. And you can follow them on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the linked account. So you need to visit their website if you want to contact them. They are actually very economical, and they are very good in all these products. So move to our topic. We are discussing RFID in depth. So this is actually the diagram of RFID tag. So let's us talk. Truly speaking, RFID is the technology of time, and based on radio frequency of radio waves. It is used to track, not only to track, but also to identify and inventory the object. This is actually very much important. RFID is not only to track the object, it is actually to identify and inventory the object. So there's a difference between EAS, Electronic Article Surveillance Security System tags, and the RFID tags. So I'll show you later within this presentation, because we are going to discuss RFID in depth. So the object could be anything. It could be books, it could be cars, medicine, shopping and warehouse items, birds, animals, and even the human. So you can see these are the images actually. I just put it for example only. Okay, and there are two main components in RFID. One is RF reader. The second is object. So second is tag. Sorry, not the object. Second is tag. RFID reader and the RFID tag. So the tag is used to attach the object. This is one of the object. Object could be anything, as I discussed in the prior slide, and then reader continuously send radio waves like this. This is just I made to explain you. So the reader continuously send the radio waves. We have discussed what are the radio waves in the last episode. So the reader continuously send the radio waves. In response, tag is also send the feedback signal to reader. An RFID can track multiple objects at the same time. So this is actually just to explain you what actually going on with the RFID reader and the RFID tag. So there are different types of reader. Let me show you handheld reader. This is actually attached with mobile or the computer system. So this is actually the handheld reader. Long distance reader, maybe you have seen this reader on the checkpoint. This is actually the real image of long distance reader. USB plate, maybe you have seen this USB plate on in any library or any departmental store maybe. And then card reader as a security card, security gate card or some VIP pass or something like that. And RFID reader is also available, and the very famous form of RFID reader is actually the door scanner. So RFID, we have talked about the types of RFID reader, and now we are going to discuss the RFID reader components. What are the components available within all these readers? So there are three components. One is RFID signal generator, and it's actually generate radio waves which are transmitted using the antenna. So it is actually attached with some antenna, and they actually generate radio waves. At the same time, it's also detect or receive the signal, receive the feedback signals which is coming from the tag, and process the information which is being sent by the RFID tag. So it's not only actually receiving the feedback signal, it's actually the process the information which is being sent by RFID tag. RFID tag actually sends some information to RFID reader. What information RFID tags send? They send information about the object. Okay, so remember this point. An RFID reader also have microcontroller or directly connected to the computer. The both possibilities are available with the RFID reader. So they are actually the component of RFID reader. It has signal generator, it generates signal, it has receiver, and it has microcontroller or connect with the computer. In last episode, I asked what is ID in RFID. So the transponder or tag is actually the ID in RFID. We have discussed the radio frequency, and identification is actually tag. Tag is the most important link in any RFID system. Now I need your concentration on this point. It has the ability to store information relating to the specific item to which they are attached. So the RFID tag can store the information of that particular object. The object could be anything. It could be book, it could be bird, it could be whatever. So the RFID tag can store the information of that particular object, and you can store the information of that object within the tag. And not only store the information, it can rewrite again without any requirement for contact or line of sign. Line of sign is mostly used with barcode system. I'll tell you what is the difference between barcode and the RFID tag. Okay, data within a tag may provide identification for an item, proof of ownership, original storage location, and loan status and history. So this is what tag do. And this ability or this quality is not available with any other tag beside RFID tag, where we use electronic article surveillance security system, where we use RF tag, where we use EM tag, where we use some other tags. They don't have this ability to store the information of that particular object which they are going to attach or rewrite the information. So that's why ID is actually tag, and the tag is the most important link in any RFID system. Hope I have actually explained clearly, but if you need any confusion, you can contact me. Okay, let's move on. Now we are going to discuss different types of tag. RFID tag. There are three types of RFID tag. One is passive, second is active, and then we have semi-active tag. Semi-passive tag, sorry. So let's move on. The most important component of any RFID tag is actually the chip. Chip has the memory to store the information of that particular object. I'll show you the diagram later in this presentation about the chip. So the chip is the most important component of any RFID tag, either active or passive or semi-passive, whatever. So move on. Another component is actually substrate or glue, which actually used to paste that tag, and then it has antenna coil. Antenna coil, this is actually the antenna coil. This is, you can see, they are the antenna coil. So this is actually the passive tag. I'll tell you the difference between active and passive tag. So this is actually the diagram of a passive tag, and there you can see the chip is actually the most important component of any RFID tag. I'll tell you. So this is actually the inner diagram of chip, and it has memory, it has controller and integrated circuit. RFID tag consists of memory, as I said, controller and integrated circuit, and an antenna combined to form a transponder. So this is what actually a tag is, and the chip is. So the passive tag, RFID tag, collects the energy to operate from a radio wave field produced by a reader device. Therefore, they do not need a battery. The difference between active and passive tag is about the battery. So the passive tag doesn't need any battery to operate, to work, to function, and they generate energy to operate from the radio waves. That's why they are so cheap actually. We have already discussed this point. Now talk about the active tag. So active tag, these tags have an onboard power source, usually a battery, mean they can transmit a stronger signal and have more range. Because they are work with battery, so they have a stronger signal. Active tag can periodically transmit a signal irrespective of our reader. So this is actually the quality of active tag, but they are quite expensive. Active tags are used for tracking container, cars, medical assets, or monitoring environmental condition in data centers. So they actually work with these types of things, but most of the books and the library things are work with passive tag. Another tag, so this is actually the battery. I just made an arrow here. Okay. Okay. The semi-passive tag is actually embedded with the battery technology to assist in providing power along with reader signal. So it has both types of things. It has the battery, it has the, and this is actually the antenna foil, and it has chip as well. You can see this is a chip. Chip is the most important component of any RFID tag. So they work with, I mean, the semi-passive tag work with RFID reader signal, and also they have a battery technology. So they have dual thing in semi-passive tag. So there are few frequency of operations. How actually tags work. So the frequency is actually low frequency, which is a start from 125 kilohertz to 134 kilohertz, and the range is up to 10 centimeter. So this is actually the low frequency tag, and the tag used for library is actually high frequency tag, and then the tag is ultra high frequency tag. High frequency tag is work on 13.56 megahertz. We have already discussed what is the difference between kilohertz, megahertz, and gigahertz in the last part. And the range of high frequency tag is up to 1 meter, and the ultra high frequency tag is actually work on 860 to 960 megahertz and range up to 10 to 5 meters. So this is actually the frequency of operation. And now there are some pros of passive tag. Actually, in a library we mostly use passive tag. So passive tag, most of passive tag available on high frequency, some of the passive tag also available on ultra high frequency. So smaller in size, much cheaper, thinner, flexible, higher range of tag option. Tag can last a lifetime without a battery. So actually the life of tag is lifetime without a battery, depending on the wear and tear. I mean, this is actually, of course, you have to understand this. And okay, that's all for part 2, and in part 3 we will talk about the RFID application in libraries. We'll discuss the what application used for circulation, tracking, inventory, and self-services, and we'll also talk about the difference between barcode and RFID tag, and we'll talk about the cost and implementation within Pakistan. And you must watch the part 1, as I said last. It says it has the RFID from scratch, so you must have to watch this part, I mean part 1 and part 2, and then part 3 also. Okay, and you must contact or sponsor, the main sponsor of this video, it's digital data system, for if you wish to implement RFID or any EM security gate. They are actually one of the best and the economical vendor, and they deal in integrated and digital library products. So you must contact to ddspark.com. Thank you very much. You're watching RAF Limbs. This is Farooq Hussain.